All right, good morning. Let's go ahead and this is part 2 of the Unit 2B practice test. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and get started with number 8. So number 8 asks for each equation that describes a line with a given slope and y-intercept, write the equation in slope-intercept form. Okay, so slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-coordinate of the y-intercept. All right, so we have a slope of 2/3 and a y-intercept of -4. So we're going to say our slope-intercept equation is y equals, we're going to plug in our slope, 2/3 x. And then my y-intercept is -4, so this is 2/3 x minus 4. For part B, y equals, our slope is -5 x, and my y-intercept is 1, so plus 1. All right, and that's pretty much it on slope-intercept form if it's that easy. Sometimes it's not that easy, but yeah, it's not too bad either. All right, so number 9, now we want to write our equations in point-slope form. We're given a slope and a point, so point-slope form. Mathematicians are not creative people. We just pretty much use the name that's given to us. So point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And again, we're just going to plug in and simplify. So when I come over here, I'm going to start with y minus y1. So I'm going to look at my point and find the y coordinate, which is 1. So I'm going to put a 1 there. Equals m, that's our slope. Oh, goodness, you can't even see that. I'm sorry, m is our slope. So this is going to be -1/4 times x minus, my x coordinate is 4. And that's it. All right, so we're going to go to B. We have a slope of 3 and a coordinate, an ordered pair of -2, 6. Again, we're just going to fill in. So y minus, our y coordinate is 6, equals 3 times x minus -2. Well, minus negative becomes positive, so plus 2. An easy way to remember is that you have negative x1, which means you're going to use the opposite sign. So x is -2. Well, if I want to make it negative, that would be negative, which is positive. So you're always going to go with the opposite signs for x and y. Okay, number 10. Now we want to take some equations that are in standard and point-slope form and write them in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form, again, we want them as y equals mx plus b, which means we want the y, or the letter y by itself. So I need to get the y by itself. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move the 2x to the right side because I should have something in front of x and that on the right. So we're going to subtract 2x. 2x minus 2x cancels out, and we have -4y equals -2x minus 16. You don't want to drop the negative in front of 4. A lot of people do that. So we don't want to drop the negative in front of 4 by accident. Okay, so then we need to get y alone. So to cancel out the -4, we're going to divide by -4. So this cancels and you're left with y equals -2 divided by -4. The negatives cancel and that's 2 over 4. We can reduce that fraction and get +1/2. Leave the x. And then -16 divided by -4. The negatives positive out. They cancel out, become positive. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 1/2 x plus 4 is the correct equation in slope-intercept form. All right, B, we're going from point slope to slope intercept. Again, we want the y by itself. Also notice this has parentheses, this does not. So the first thing I want to do is distribute my 4. And this becomes y minus 3 equals 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I want y by itself, so I'm going to add 3 to each side. And this becomes y equals 4x plus 23. And that's it. Pretty easy. Okay, number 11, we want to graph the line from each equation. And fortunately, number 11a is easy because it's in slope-intercept form. So we have our y-intercept of positive 5, so we're going to go to the y-axis and put a point on 5. And then my slope is negative 3/4. So what that means, since it's negative, my line should go, I need to go down first. So I'm going to go down 3 spaces, so 1, 2, 3, and then across 4. I'm going to go to the right 4. Always go to the right. A lot of people say negative, so I'm going to go down and left. Well, down is negative, left is negative. 2 negatives make a positive, so you don't want to make that mistake. So always go to the right. If it's positive, go up and right. If it's negative, go down and right. So we're going to go down 3 spaces and across 4. Down 3 and to the right 4. And then to continue this up, going backwards, because we want our line to continue. So I can go back to the y-intercept and go up 3 and left 4. 1, 2. And that way it just follows that line. And then the whole reason you have an ID is so that you have a straight edge. So use your school-provided straight edge to connect your dots. And here is your line, y equals negative 3/4 x plus 5. All right, so B, we have something a little different. We have point slope form. So remember, point slope means I have a point and a slope. So here's my slope, but I also have the point 6, 7 on here. My x-coordinate is 6, my y-coordinate is 7, and remember we use the opposite signs. So I have a point 6, 7. So the good thing about this is we might not have the correct y. We might not be able to graph the y-intercept. We don't know what it is. It could be 11. It could be negative 11. It might not be on this graph. But we do know the point 6, 7 is. So we're going to go to 6 on the x-axis and 7 on the y and plot a point there. And then my slope is 4/3. That would mean I would go up 4 units and over 3, which I don't actually have the room for. So what that means is instead of going up 4 and right 3, we're going to go down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 3, 1, 2, 3. And that way if I were to come from here over, then it's going up 4 and right 3, so it's still positive. So we're going both negative. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to continue so we have enough points to make a line. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And that should be enough. So use your straight edge. And that should be your point. Now, if you were not comfortable with that, you could put this in slope-intercept form, kind of like what we did here. You would have to distribute your 4/3. That would be y minus 7 equals 4/3 x. 6 times 4 is 24, divided by 3 is 8, so minus 8. And then you could add 7. And y equals 4/3 x minus 1, which would have also been easy to graph. You would have started at -1, go up 4, and across 3, which is what we actually are doing. So the graph matches both equations. But you can just start with your point and go and follow your slope there. Does not matter. They're both correct. right, number 12. The table shows how much, okay, so real quick, there was an issue with number 12. We're going to cross out this. We got copy and paste happy. Remember, I think we have told you that we copy and paste. We make the real test first, then we copy it, change some of the numbers, and paste, or we copy and paste it, change numbers, and that's your practice test. So some things may not have been changed when we got copy and paste happy. So we're going to change this question to how much money is in the account after 35 days. All right, so the table shows how much money is in Ulysses' account as a function of time since payday X. All right, so A asks us to write an equation to represent the function f of x in point-slope form. Now, this is the thing. F of x in point-slope form is a little weird. I was about to start doing f of x equals, but we want to use point-slope form, so we're still going to use y and x. So we're going to do y minus, now we're going to pick a random point from this table. It does not matter which point you pick. So why don't we do 5 and 1865? It does not matter. So my y coordinate is 1865 equals, now I need my slope. I don't have my slope. So to get my slope, let's see, let's do this right here. We have to subtract our x's and y's. So let's do 2200. This would be my y's and this would be my x's. So 2200 minus 1999. And then we're going to also subtract 0 minus 3. And that makes sense because we should have a negative number since my money is decreasing. So, let me find my calculator. So, we're going to do this. We're going to do 2200 minus 1999. Should get 201 over 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So, this becomes, I'm trying to find some room, 201 over negative 3. And let's see what happens when I divide by negative 3. I get negative 67. So my slope is negative 67. So what that means, if we're going to interpret it, is that each day I'm spending $67. And this is going to be x minus, so 1865 was my y, my x is 5. All right, so we have that in point slope form. Now, you may have a different point than me, and that's okay. You may have 3, 1999. You may have 15, 1195. Does not matter which point you use. Since all these points are on the same line. All right, B, show how to use algebra to write the function in slope-intercept form. So again, slope-intercept form, we want y by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the 67 to the x and negative 5. So this will be negative 67x. Negative times negative is positive. And 67 times 5, if I can, there we go, times 5 is 335. Okay? And then I want y by itself. So I'm going to add 1865 to each side. And this is going to be y equals negative 67x plus, add 1865, and you should get 2,200, which also makes sense because on day 0 I had 22, that is my y-intercept. 2,200 is my y-intercept. So there we go. Excuse me. All right, and then C, show how to use your function to find how much how much money is in the account after 35 days. I didn't have an R. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do y equals negative 67. My days is x, so we're going to plug in 35 for x plus 2200. So I'm going to multiply 67 times 35, which gives me 2,345. Remember, this is negative, so this is going to be negative 2,345 plus 2,200. So that's negative. We're going to add 2,200. And so y should equal negative 145. So what that means is on day 35, there is negative $145 in the account. Now, this is since payday. I am sure that they have not gone $35 without pay. I'm sorry, 35 days without pay. Unless you're, because ours, I'm just thinking as a teacher, we get paid on the 25th, except right at Christmas, because we get paid right before Christmas break, and then we don't get our next paycheck till January 25th. So yeah, actually they could have gone 35 days without pay. So it's about time for payday. So we've overdrafted our account at this point, which is not good. Excuse me. Okay, so this video is a little long. It's at 16 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. Part 3 will be coming soon. Thank you for your attention, and good luck with Part 3.